First Marriage Episode 9 manages to make Georgie and Mandy's Meemaw disrespect worse. In the increasingly turbulent world of First Marriage, Episode 9 is shaping up to be a watershed moment, not for its plot twists or grand revelations, but for the subtle, almost surgical way it manages to deepen the audience's disdain for Meemaw's increasingly blatant disrespect toward Georgie and Mandy. From the moment the episode opens, it becomes clear that the writers are intentionally testing boundaries, carefully threading a narrative that highlights generational tension, personal boundaries, and the consequences of passive aggression. The episode opens with a deceptively light-hearted family brunch at the Hamilton household. Sunlight streams through the windows, illuminating a table laden with pancakes, scrambled eggs, and slightly over-browned bacon, the kind of meticulous domesticity that might normally suggest warmth, intimacy, or even a moment of respite. But this seemingly innocent setup is a perfect Trojan horse for Meemaw's brand of cutting commentary. From the first line, Meemaw sets the tone. "Oh, Georgie, is that the same tie you wore last week?" And Mandy, darling, that dress, well, it's certainly something. On its own, it could be dismissed as eccentric grandmotherly behavior, but context matters. The audience has spent the last 8 episodes witnessing subtle, simmering tensions between Georgie, Mandy, and Meemaw, and by now, every condescending remark resonates with far more weight than mere fashion critique. Here, Meemaw is performing her brand of verbal power play, asserting control and undermining confidence in the smallest, most insidious ways. The brilliance of Episode 9 lies in how it escalates these microaggressions without ever resorting to overt confrontation, yet the impact is visceral. One particularly striking scene involves Meemaw interrogating Mandy about her career choices. "So Mandy, still trying to find your passion, or are you just floating along?" she asks, spooning syrup over her pancakes with a casual, almost imperceptible flick. Mandy's eyes narrow, but she holds her tongue, offering a polite smile that masks a brewing storm. Georgie, sensing Mandy's discomfort, hesitates before stepping in, but Meemaw sidesteps him effortlessly. The audience feels the tension in real time, recognizing that Meemaw's disrespect isn't accidental. It's a conscious, strategic assault on both Georgie and Mandy's sense of self. What makes this episode particularly compelling is how it intertwines humor with the raw sting of criticism. The writers are experts at juxtaposition, crafting scenes where laughter is inescapable even as the underlying sentiment leaves a bitter taste. For instance, during a discussion about Mandy's cooking skills, Meemaw volunteers an unsolicited tasting session. "I suppose your famous lasagna could pass for edible," she says, smirking as she chews slowly. The room freezes. Mandy laughs nervously, Georgie scowls, and the audience collectively grimaces. It's comedy built on discomfort, a device that magnifies Meemaw's subtle cruelty while keeping viewers engaged. Episode 9 also delves deeper into the relational dynamics between Georgie and Mandy, demonstrating how Meemaw's behavior exacerbates existing insecurities. Early on, Georgie reveals a private frustration. He feels trapped between respecting his grandmother's authority and defending his wife. Mandy, for her part, struggles to maintain composure in the face of constant microjudgments. Their private conversations reveal a growing chasm between them and Meemaw, a chasm the episode exploits to its narrative advantage. These moments are quiet but powerful, allowing viewers to understand that Meemaw's disrespect doesn't exist in a vacuum. It directly influences the emotional and psychological landscape of Georgie and Mandy's relationship. A particularly unforgettable sequence occurs during a family game night, a classic setup for revealing character flaws. Meemaw, wielding the dual weapons of sarcasm and innuendo, picks apart Georgie's trivia knowledge with surgical precision. "Oh, Georgie, I'm surprised you even remembered that answer," she says, her tone honeyed but laced with venom. Mandy, who knows Georgie's history with anxiety, watches his face redden. The game itself, intended as a moment of levity, becomes an arena where Meemaw thrives, turning even casual competition into a spectacle of humiliation. By the end of the round, Georgie's confidence is shaken, Mandy's patience is fraying, and the audience is left exhaling a collective sigh of exasperation. Interestingly, Episode 9 does not paint Meemaw as a one-dimensional antagonist. There are fleeting moments of vulnerability, glimpses of a woman shaped by decades of societal expectation and familial pressure. One scene shows her alone in the kitchen, silently observing a family photograph and letting a rare, wistful expression soften her usual sharp edges. These moments serve two purposes. They humanize her and make her disrespect even more unsettling. Viewers are forced to grapple with the duality of her character, the warmth of memory juxtaposed with the cruelty of the present, which heightens the tension and emotional complexity of the episode. The writing also excels in its pacing, carefully balancing scenes of confrontation with quieter, introspective moments. When Georgie confides in a close friend about the strain Meemaw's behavior is placing on his marriage, the conversation is tender yet filled with unspoken frustration. The dialogue is precise. Every word is laden with implication, revealing not only Georgie's frustration, but also the subtle manipulations Meemaw employs to maintain control over the family narrative. It's a masterclass in character-driven storytelling, where tension is conveyed not through spectacle, but through careful observation and emotional layering. Episode 9 also uses visual storytelling to reinforce Meemaw's disrespect. Cinematography choices, tight close-ups on Georgie and Mandy's reactions, long tracking shots that isolate them amidst family chatter, underscore the emotional weight of her behavior. Lighting plays a role too. Moments where Meemaw delivers particularly cutting remarks are often framed with harsher light, casting shadows that visually mirror the psychological strain she imposes. Costume design is equally telling. Meemaw's attire, always immaculate and slightly ostentatious, contrasts with Mandy's more understated wardrobe, subtly reinforcing the power imbalance. Another fascinating aspect of the episode is how it explores the ripple effects of Meemaw's behavior beyond immediate family interactions. Friends and extended family members are drawn into the orbit of tension, with some siding tacitly with Meemaw, others caught awkwardly in the crossfire. A lunch scene with Georgie's co-workers demonstrates how her commentary, though seemingly personal, spills into public perception. One co-worker awkwardly compliments Mandy's outfit, preemptively mitigating potential critique, while another exchanges a knowing glance with Georgie, silently acknowledging Meemaw's capacity for discomfort. These peripheral reactions emphasize that Meemaw's disrespect isn't contained. It permeates every corner of the Hamilton family's world. The climax of Episode 9 is less about dramatic confrontation than about the cumulative effect of small, persistent aggressions. In a scene set on the Hamilton porch, Georgie finally attempts to assert himself, reminding Meemaw that her words carry weight and can harm the people she claims to love. Meemaw, unshaken, responds with a practiced mixture of deflection and mild reproach. The interaction is almost anticlimactic in terms of traditional drama, yet it resonates far more deeply because it reflects a reality many viewers recognize. Some relationships are complicated not by overt malice, but by subtle, habitual disrespect that erodes trust over time. Perhaps the most significant achievement of Episode 9 is its ability to make Meemaw's behavior feel larger than life without turning her into a caricature. She is simultaneously infuriating and fascinating, a character whose intellect, social awareness, and emotional nuance make her capable of both tenderness and cruelty. The audience is left in a peculiar position, part admiration for her cunning, part exasperation at the relentless way she undermines those around her. In doing so, the